Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Friday, June the 29th, and welcome to our video commentary. I'm sure many of you remember Little House in the Prairie. It was a very popular television show back in the 70s. It went into the 80s. I think it was on the air for over 10 years. And the main star of the show was Michael Landon. And he played the role of Charles Ingalls. And it was a family in the prairie. There were some great characters in the book. His wife, Ma Ingalls, and also the little girls, Laura and Mary, Sister Mary. And there were all other brothers and sisters, but I don't remember all of their names. And this television show, Michael Landon based the show on some books that came out in the early part of the 20th century, written by Laura Ingalls Wilder, the young girl in the series, who wrote a bunch of books about her family and what life was like in the prairie. Now, I have not read the books, but I have watched just about every television show, and I enjoy them every time that they come on. They were great family shows, great family stories, and you saw, the great devotion that this family had for each other, but also what it was like, to grow up at a time when obviously times were tough for the people in the prairie and the people living at that time. Well, over time, Laura Ingalls Wilder became a very popular writer, well recognized. There's even a museum in Missouri where she died. And, people think of her as a great storyteller about a family, her family, but also about a time in the history of the United States when many, many families would go out to the prairie and start their new life. Well, there is an organization that apparently hands out awards for children's books, and one of these awards was named after Laura Ingalls Wilder, and they've decided to do away with this award because they think that the books written by Laura Ingalls Wilder are insensitive or have stereotypes of Native Americans or blacks, and therefore do not live up to their values, whatever those values are. Well, first of all, I would like to know who appointed these people as the ones who are going to rewrite American history and tell us about this book or that book. I'm frankly sick and tired of this. I think history is history. It's not perfect by any means, but I think history is history, and the more we deal with it as it is, rather than try to rewrite it or delete it, the better off we are. But also, where is this thing going to stop? What's next? What's going to be deleted next? It's just crazy. I mean, these books, Little House in the Prairie, depicted a time in the country when, yes, our attitudes toward Native Americans and blacks were different than they are today. But I think the main message of the book is the fact that you had this great family devoted to each other. You had this great father and mother who had a great marriage and a great relationship. And that's what this was all about, a family surviving in the prairies, not necessarily what they thought of Native Americans or other minorities with whom they may have had contact. So I think that we as a country, we're going to have to put our foot down and simply say enough of this political correctness garbage. We don't have to rewrite the entire history of the United States so that we can live up to the values of political correctness. Yes, mistakes were made in the past, but frankly, mistakes were made in every civilization. I mean, you can go back and study the history of any country and you can find mistakes or mistreatment of that or that, but that's not the point of Little House. The point of Little House was a family growing up in the prairie and taking care of each other and surviving the difficulties of growing up in the prairie. So I hope they'll reconsider their decision, and I don't know whether state legislatures have something to do with this, but I tell you, I think it's time to start putting our foot down and saying, stop rewriting our history and stop deleting our history because you don't like this or you don't like that. If you don't like Little House, don't read it. But I just think it's unfair to deny children in the future the contact of these great stories or this great lady, Laura Ingalls Wilder, who probably has done a heck of a lot more to promote our knowledge of the prairie than a lot of other people may realize. Well, have a wonderful day, everybody. If you have a birthday today, I hope you have a good one. We have all of these videos over on YouTube, on Twitter, and on my blog. Talk to you later. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye, everybody.